so much. And I actually have, a professor from the law school at the Sandra Day O'Connor, she reached out to me once, like maybe 4 months ago, and said something similar. I didn't interview her, but she and I were chatting, and she's like, talking about podcasts, and I'd never thought of it, but that's interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I actually think this would have made a good one, and you can feel free to use it. So let me see what else about leadership in mindfulness. Well, it's like I said, I think we started with this. If the leader does not have a practice, he or she should not be insisting that everybody else have one.
Okay.
And greenwashing is a big thing. Companies trying to be sustainable and ecological, and they don't really do it except for market it.
Yep.
It's so transparent to see a company that's doing that same thing.
Yeah.
So really, you got to be authentic and walk the talk versus, just saying we're a mindful company. Well, not if you're not recycling, you're not, and not if you're not giving people time to sit and down and eat their lunch, you're not.
Right. Right.
So.
That's super important. And in fact, something that's come up is, I've been warned by one of my committee members that mindfulness, implementing mindfulness into organizations without a really holistic understanding of it or practice of it can be in just another sort of control mechanism, like, oh, be mindful, and if you're not being mindful, then you're doing it wrong, you're being bad, right? And so it can be kind of this parental sort of thing. And I think that's really important. So I'm much more interested in mindful leadership than studying quote unquote mindful organizations for the reason you just mentioned, because it's not always the case. So
yeah, well, mindful leadership, if you really look at adoption in an organization, for instance, people that come to me as leaders, they better be mindful. They better be doing it. Now, they want to share mindfulness within the organization itself. There have been fits and starts about how to do that. And various ways, whether it's a desktop application or mindful gatherings on lunch. We have teachers go to Mayo Clinic and teach there, and I think that it's a personal. It's like saying to somebody, now adopt this way of thinking. It's impossible to legislate mindfulness.
Yeah, yeah.
And some people, they think that it's, especially John Kabat-Zinn talks about it has its roots in Buddhism. You've got Richard Davidson, who's a Tibetan Buddhist. So you've got a number of people who, even though they're not talking about Buddhism, they're actually talking about Buddhism. And that can be offensive. I know it was very offensive when I was speaking to an organization, and I didn't talk about Buddhism, but they had heard about mindfulness, and they were already concerned it was devil's work.
Oh, wow.
So you have to be culturally sensitive. And I know one woman that went to a mindfulness class, and she had a really bad anxiety, and the teacher told her that she doesn't have what it takes.
Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah, so it's crazy, the blatant, if people really are mindful leaders, they have a strong practice, and they can be mindful whether or not the people underneath them are mindful.
Yes.
And it serves them because it serves for, I can see why they want, for instance, upper management to be mindful, because it helps with longevity in terms of their health, as well as their engagement and their personal lives. When people are mindful, they're mindful of their bodies, they're mindful of their stress response, and they're mindful when they need to take a different tact. And I think it's hard. It's not you can't greenwash anything. You cannot. It's people are indoctrinated, from the time they're little kids into their behavior.
Right.
Chewing with their mouth open, standing up and hanging over the sink, and talking while they're eating. None of that's mindful behavior. Driving like a maniac on their way to work.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
And people have to want it.
Yeah, very, very, very true. So true.
Yeah, well, anyway, I hope that helped you. I'm excited you're doing this study. I look forward to seeing the results of it. Hopefully I'll get a chance to.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I will, I'm going to send each person that I've interviewed, I'm going to send like an excerpt, 2 or 3 pages of sort of the preliminary or primary findings when I have that, probably closer to December.
Great.
So you can kind of see how you contributed. And then, the other thing is I will send you today, but no rush on getting it back to me. There's like a short 10 to 15 minute online, quantitative portion.
Okay.
And it basically just measures different types of mindfulness, like trait and state and other things.
Sure.
And then asks you about your practice. So I'll send that to you now, and then you can just send that back or fill it out at your convenience.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. I appreciate you and all the time that you spent with me today. I think it's been very insightful, and I'm really looking forward to coding and analyzing in more detail.
Oh, cool. Do you transcribe these conversations, or how does it work?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, they're audio recorded. I listen to them via audio. I'm like you. I'm very auditory. And then I have a professional academic transcription service that's going to transcribe all of them. And then I go in and I code and analyze and play with the data. But I'm already seeing preliminary findings, just sort of after having talked to you're my 20th person that I've interviewed.
Oh,
so
good. How many do you plan to interview?
Honestly, as many as possible. I think that there's arguments on either side, but I think the more rigorous the study, I think the more participants, the more rigorous. So I'd like to probably interview about 40.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah.
Well, good luck. If you want to, would you be able to send me the transcript?
I definitely can. Yes.
Okay. All right. I would love it. Because
Yes.
I use it for little snippets for blog posts too, so.
Sure. I'll send you the transcript, and then, that won't be until that'll be probably like September, October, just so you know, is when I'm getting those transcribed. But yes.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you, and good luck.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Okay. Okay. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.